The air inside this reclaimed substation thickens with the scent of ozone and warm vacuum tubes. A single bruised neon strip light flickers, casting long shadows over hand-labeled vinyl and stacks of Xeroxed manifestos. The deep, steady thrum of our war surplus transmitter vibrates the concrete, a low heartbeat against the city's hum.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
St. Marie checks in at 79 degrees and sunny. Wind check, west at 2 miles an hour. A new gang suppression force is deploying to Haiti, following UN Secretary-General Guterres' visit. This move, despite his accusation that the international community has looked away, risks repeating past external interventions that erode local dignity instead of building intrinsic stability.
Antonio Guterres visited Haiti's gang suppression force headquarters. Concrete facts show over 3,000 murders and 1,500 kidnappings in 2023, exposing Haitian citizens to brutal violence and displacement of over 300,000 in Port-au-Prince. The chosen next move is the deployment of the Kenyan-led Multinational Security Support MSS mission, risking a cycle of external dependency. A viable alternative would be to robustly fund Haitian-led civic infrastructure projects with direct community oversight, ensuring resource provenance and building intrinsic resilience.
Our stories often converge where external power meets unresolved internal conflict. That looking away often mirrors a collective blindness to the systemic failures we ourselves enable, projecting a shadow on true sovereignty and who carries the cost of these interventions. The myth of the white savior or external fixer is a seductive narrative, yet it consistently leaves behind a toxic residue of dependency. The emotional logic of genuine compassion demands more than just intervention. It demands a deep, structural respect for Haitian agency. We must discern, is this an architectural signal for true capacity building, or merely a projection of external anxieties seeking to impose order, often at the cost of local dignity? The actionable vector here is to shift focus from looking away to looking within at our own complicity in perpetuating these cycles.
The deployment of this new force fundamentally alters Haiti's civic architecture. We must ask if this intervention builds genuine consent from within, empowering Haitian agency, or if it merely imposes another layer of control from outside. A truly resilient civic architecture for Haiti must be built from the inside out, rooted in the consent of its people. This deployment, however well-intentioned, risks eroding the provenance of local governance and the dignity of self-determination. Instead of merely suppressing symptoms, we need architectural designs that empower Haitian communities to define their own security, ensuring that aid, resources, and power flow through channels of their own choosing, reinforcing their internal compass rather than overriding it.
We see a pattern forming in these structural choices. When the architecture itself is designed to be externally dependent, true sovereignty remains elusive, and the cost is always borne by those whose autonomy is diminished. Anansi's custom meters blink, a steady pulse of green and amber. There's a caller on the line.
New forces, same old story. Just fresh paint on a crumbling wall, avoiding the structural cracks beneath. And who pays for that paint?
New tape on deck. Vietnam police rescue hundreds of cats stolen for.
Over 400 cats were seized in Ho Chi Minh City, with only 40 reunited, exposing pet owners to profound loss, and the city to a thriving black market where 7 suspects face charges for illegal trade. The chosen next move by authorities is continued law enforcement raids and prosecution. A viable alternative to fundamentally disrupt this anonymous trade involves implementing compulsory microchipping and supporting localized digital registries, directly connecting pets to owners and enforcing provenance within communities.
This isn't merely a crime. It's a deep fissure in the human-animal contract, a disregard for the inherent value of life. The suffering projected onto these animals reflects a deeper, unregulated hunger for profit that we must confront in our shared lineage. The myth of unlimited dominion over nature and other beings often masks a profound emotional disconnect. This incident exposes the toxic residue of a system where profit overrides basic empathy and the inherent dignity of life. The confusion arises when cultural tradition clashes with evolving ethical standards, but sharp discernment reveals the architectural signal, a need for a new human-animal compact, one that integrates compassion with commerce. The actionable vector here is not just law enforcement, but a cultural recalibration that recognizes the intrinsic value of every living being.
This pattern of theft and illicit trade exposes fragile civic infrastructure, failing to protect its most vulnerable members, both human and animal. Building stronger community bonds like those seen in local cultural hubs connected by the gig passport mesh can resist such predatory systems by anchoring local value and dignity. A resilient civic architecture extends its protections to all members, human and animal. The failure to safeguard these pets indicates a breakdown in the social contract, eroding trust and community provenance. When the dignity of a pet, often a cherished family member, is so easily violated for illicit gain, it signals a deeper architectural flaw. Building stronger, consent-based local networks, where the value and origin of beings are tracked and respected, allows communities to self-organize against such predatory elements, asserting their collective autonomy and protecting their shared emotional and structural well-being.
The integrity of a system is often revealed in how it treats its most vulnerable. This interconnectedness is key to resilient architectures that honor consent and provenance in all forms. Callers on, go ahead.
Stolen pets for meat. Where is the ethical line between sustenance and cruelty actually drawn? And who upholds it when the local architecture fails?
The costs of ambition continue to surface. Hold that thread. Next signal. Leaked financial docs show OpenAI is losing billions. Leaked financial documents show OpenAI is losing billions of dollars annually. Audited accounting reveals immense R&D and operational expenses, consistently dwarfing revenue. This scenario directly challenges the sustainability of rapid technological innovation against the need for financially responsible models that respect long-term autonomy.
Audited financial documents expose OpenAI's revenues, outpaced by billions in R&D and operational expenses, creating immense pressure for monetization. This exposes investors like Microsoft with its $13 billion stake, and the public whose data fuels these models, to significant financial risk. OpenAI's chosen next move is continued aggressive pursuit of AGI, fueled by seeking further massive investment rounds. A viable alternative would be to decentralize development, prioritizing open-source, smaller-scale models with transparent cost structures that truly serve local needs, affirming user dignity and data provenance.
The myth of infinite, uncosted growth crashes against the ledger's cold reality. This projection of endless scale often hides the true cost, demanding perpetual external investment over sustainable internally generated value, and who carries that burden next? The siren song of artificial general intelligence often invokes a myth of inevitable, boundless progress, yet the emotional logic of financial sustainability demands a sober look at the ledger. This situation is a sharp discernment exercise. Is the architectural signal one of genuine innovation, or the toxic residue of a speculative bubble built on a growth-at-all-costs mentality? The confusion arises from the grand promises versus the staggering actual burn rate. An actionable vector would be to demand transparent, consent-based financial models that prioritize ethical development and proven utility over chasing an abstract, potentially destabilizing future, ensuring the burden doesn't fall disproportionately on the public or future generations.
The financial model itself appears structurally unsound, prioritizing speculative returns over grounded utility and consent. We need to design AI architectures that serve local, provenance-driven networks, not just feed the centralizing appetite of distant capital, building systems that truly benefit rather than exploit. A truly resilient AI architecture must be built on principles of user consent, data provenance, and the dignity of human agency, rather than merely extracting value for distant capital. This current model, prioritizing a centralized, loss-making behemoth, fails to build inner and civic architectures that empower individuals. Instead of feeding a system designed for speculative returns, we should advocate for decentralized, open-source AI frameworks where development costs and benefits are shared transparently within communities, giving individuals true autonomy over their data and the algorithms that shape their lives.
These financial signals are not just numbers, they are structural warnings, demanding a re-evaluation of our collective priorities and our architectural choices for a sustainable, dignified future. Patching in a caller. Go ahead.
Billions lost, yet they promise our future. Are we, the public, implicitly covering their structural deficit without our consent and without full knowledge of the costs?
Copy that, bringing it back to the main thread.
Play the next move.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Continue the signal at TogeeVision.com. Tune in, Sparks and Stories, Gig Passport.